It was a moonless night when my friends and I decided to take a drive to the abandoned Oakwood Asylum. We were looking for a thrill, something to break the monotony of our mundane lives. Little did we know that our desire for excitement would lead us down a terrifying path we could never have imagined. The clock struck midnight as we piled into my old, beaten-up Chevy. The only source of light was the faint glow of the car's headlights, slicing through the impenetrable darkness of the winding country road. The air was thick with anticipation, and our laughter echoed off the rustling trees lining the desolate highway. "Are you sure this place is haunted?" John, the skeptic of the group, scoffed. "Only one way to find out," I replied with a nervous chuckle. The legend of Oakwood Asylum had haunted our small town for generations. Tales of its gruesome history had always intrigued and terrified us in equal measure. As we approached the asylum, the atmosphere grew heavier, and the air seemed to chill. The imposing building loomed out of the darkness like a fortress of despair. Broken windows stared at us like empty eye sockets, and the overgrown weeds whispered secrets of the past. It was a place forgotten by time, a place where nightmares were born. We parked the car a safe distance away, not wanting to attract unwanted attention from the police. Armed with flashlights and a camera, we ventured inside the asylum. Our footsteps echoed ominously through the decaying halls, and the walls seemed to ooze with the pain and suffering of the souls that had once inhabited this place. The further we ventured into the asylum, the colder it became, and the unease settled deep in our bones. Shadows danced around us, and we heard faint whispers, the voices of the tormented. I tried to rationalize the sounds, attributing them to the wind or our own paranoia, but deep down I knew something was terribly wrong. We finally reached the basement, the heart of darkness in this accursed place. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and our flashlights revealed rusted cages and shackles bolted to the walls. It was here that the most disturbed patients had been kept, subjected to unspeakable horrors. I shuddered at the thought of the suffering that had taken place within these walls. As we explored further, we stumbled upon a room with a heavy metal door. It was locked, but I couldn't resist the urge to try and force it open. With a loud creak, the door slowly gave way, revealing a room bathed in a sickly green light. In the center of the room, there was a large, ornate mirror. The mirror seemed out of place in the decrepit surroundings of the asylum. As I approached it, my reflection seemed distorted, my features contorted into a grotesque caricature of myself. Panic welled up inside me, and I stumbled back, only to find that the room had changed. The walls were no longer decayed and crumbling. They were pristine, covered in strange symbols that seemed to wreathe and pulse. The air was thick with an otherworldly presence, and I could feel malevolent eyes watching us from every corner. "Let's get out of here," I stammered, but my voice sounded distant, as though it belonged to someone else. My friends didn't respond. They were frozen in place, their eyes locked on the mirror. Suddenly, I felt a cold, clammy hand on my shoulder. I turned to see a nightmarish figure standing behind me. Its skin was pallid and stretched tight over its skeletal frame. Its eyes were empty voids, and its lips curled into a sinister grin. In that moment, time seemed to stand still. The figure whispered in a language I couldn't understand, and the symbols on the walls began to glow with an eerie light. The room filled with a deafening roar, and I could feel the world around me unraveling. I woke up in my car, parked on the side of the road. My friends were still with me, but they were silent, their faces pale and devoid of emotion. We had no memory of what had transpired in that room, but we all felt changed, as though something had taken a piece of our souls. To this day, I can't explain what happened that night, but I know that we ventured too far into the darkness, and it left its mark on us. The legend of Oakwood Asylum had become all too real, and we had paid a price for our curiosity. The memories of that night continue to haunt my dreams, a constant reminder that some doors are better left unopened and some drives are better left untaken.